Welcome to the podcast, guys. It's your boy Marquez.
And I am Ian.
Yes, he is Ian. He is. And welcome to the podcast and welcome back. It's probably been a while since you guys have seen us, heard us. But I think we're looking good. I think we're looking better.
Older. We definitely look older.
Looking older.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a great episode for you guys today. We want to sit back and relax and talk to you guys about our thoughts and opinions on the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie.
Yeah.
So when you're ready, you can start us off, man. Take us away. Let's get it.
Let's get started. I think at first I just want to hit on some things about the franchise that this movie was a part of and what it kind of got gobbled into. So, I mean, what were your experiences growing up with the X-Men Fox universe and or other? Well, we don't want to get into spoilers in this round. So
okay, so you want me to
not the cameos?
Yeah, no, that's fair. You're trying to keep it a bit spoiler free for the film itself, but no, I think I really liked the Fox movies as a kid. I mean, who didn't? I feel like it was not that I feel like it was most people's first just foray into these Marvel characters, you know? People love to retrospectively go back and crap on some of those movies. And I do think that there were some instances of some of those movies, maybe the Colin Farrell Bullseye doing the weird tongue thing that I thought, that's a little weird.
From Daredevil.
Yeah, Daredevil. You know, you watch it and you're just and I'm a teenager, you know, a younger teenager, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I'd say that was bad, but I feel like I don't think when I was a kid, I don't think you just go around saying things are bad. You know, so I feel like I thoroughly enjoyed a lot of those films, flaws and all. I wasn't that critical of movies until now, you know, hence us being here today on this podcast. But I have a lot of love for the Fox movies. There's a lot of them.
Do you have a favorite one? X-Men, favorite X-Men, and then also favorite just in general Fox, or maybe pre-MCU movie?
Okay. You're gonna probably cringe maybe. Okay, so when I was younger, right, when I was a wee little sprout, I really liked Iceman, you know? I thought I feel like that's you're probably well, it's pretty normal, right? But I really liked Iceman, and I thought his powers were sick. I love the little feud he had with Pyro, and I'm just fire and ice, baby.
I got
kick his ass, man. You got this.
I was so mad at that whole love triangle.
But then I got a little bit older, you know, and the hormones started going, and then I really fell in love with Rogue. And Rogue became my favorite. I don't know if maybe that has to do with forgetting her name now, the actress who plays Rogue. I don't
remember.
It's I think it's Anna Paquin. Anna Paquin, right? Anna Paquin.
We'll go with yes. I really don't
Imagine
know.
that's not her name at all. It's Sarah Lufin.
Yeah, and it might be. It might be.
We're just so. I'm pretty sure it's Anna Paquin though. Anna Paquin, if you're listening, you're great. You've always been great, and one day I hope to meet you and tell you how great I think you are. But yeah, no, I she became my favorite. I loved her in the first X-Men you meet her, or is it X-Men 2?
Yeah, X-Men 1. Yes.
X-Men 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure X1.
She's introduced to the fold.
Yeah, and her little weird nasty dive bar scene, you know, the guys being all gross and weird, and just she's like, don't touch me, Mo. You touch me, I'm gonna give you that ick. Kind of, you know, it was cool. I've always thought her character was cool, even though they never did diddly squat with her in those movies. Her character was cool, so she would be my favorite. But my favorite X movie, gosh, that's gotta be, man. It's not tough at all. Last Stand. I'm sorry.
Really? X3?
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Guys. Because I had to think about how excited which movie I was the most excited to watch. And oh my God, that was my Avengers, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
I did see that in theaters.
Just think about it.
And
the amount of mutants.
Yeah.
It was like an Avengers level event. It was like Endgame. People always want to compare things to Endgame now that make no sense to compare to Endgame. They're like, oh, you seen Longlegs? That's Endgame. It's like Endgame. It's like Neon's Endgame. I'm like, no, that doesn't make any sense. But that X-Men Last Stand, that was like Endgame. They all came in and they were like, hey man, we gotta get this. We gotta get these. We gotta get this bridge. Yeah, we gotta go over this bridge, man. How are we gonna do that? And they're like, we got like 70 mutants back here with various abilities. We got this. And they did. And it was cool. You know, the movie has like so many goofy one-liners. Like so many. It's I don't know, just cemented in my brain, that one. I don't know why it took me a second to think about it, but tell me yours.
Yeah, in general, I'm pretty fond of these old Marvel films. You know, I grew up on the stuff, you know, and also like the DC animated shows in the late 90s, early 2000s. So I was always kind of a big superhero nerd. And with the movies, the X-Men movies, I think for favorite X-Man, we're probably going to go. I feel like it's so generic, but I was a really big fan of Cyclops.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say Cyclops.
I don't know if maybe I just saw like.
It's because you have glasses.
It's, you know, I got glasses.
It's because you have glasses.
I got brown hair.
You look like Cyclops.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God, Scott Summers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was always just a big fan.
I'm in a podcast, guys, with Scott Summers. Yes. This is crazy.
Or what's the actor's name? I can't think of his name.
The dude in the Sonic movies.
Yeah, the dude in the Sonic
films. Wait, are you serious? I made that up.
Yeah,
I thought I was trying to be funny.
No, he's the same guy.
James Marsden?
I'm pretty sure.
James Marsden? Are you Cyclops? James Marsden?
No, it's Jim Carrey. No, I'm joking.
Stop. Now you're playing. Now you're playing games.
No,
James Marsden is not. That actually sounds so right now.
I think it is. Yeah.
A young James Marsden. Yeah.
You just didn't see his face.
Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, just ready.
He was bright-eyed because he shoot beams out of his eyes.
Bright-eyed, bushy beams coming out of his eyes. Imagine how different those movies could have been if the beams came out of his butthole.
Oh, it would have been extremely different. It might be rated something completely different that we would not be able to see. They
make that PG.
No, not PG. I don't think PG. I mean, I guess
I think they can make it PG.
It would have to be pretty cartoonish.
We cut right before the beam stops, so we don't have to
There's
see.
There's like a little fart noise.
Yeah. just bing.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
But yeah, no, I really like Cyclops. Of course you like Wolverine. Like why wouldn't you like Wolverine, you know?
Yeah. I feel like with you saying Cyclops and me saying Rogue, I feel like we just subsequently just shitted on like all the other fantastic X-Men.
But Storm was great. Yeah. I mean, they were all great.
They're all, but you also said favorites. And like I feel like I still and you know, don't crucify me here. I still haven't seen X-Men 97, but like I feel like I still haven't seen a really like my Storm on screen. And that's no knock to Halle Berry or the young lady who played her after that in the newer renditions. Just saying, like I feel like they haven't done what they really could have done with the character Storm. So like, and you can say that for tons of other mutants, you know, there's so many of them and they all have really cool and unique storylines and whatnot, but there's only so many movies, man.
Yeah, there is. Speaking of the X-Men movies, my favorite, I really love Days of Futures Past.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. I think it's so solid.
You can't argue that's not a good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah. First Class is pretty up there for me too. I don't know. I just liked seeing the young, like Michael Fassbender being Magneto and the young Charles Xavier with what's his name? The dude from the M. Night Shyamalan film. I really can't think of his name.
Nope.
He's oh God. We're just gonna fight through.
Nope.
I'm sorry. I know his name and I know who he is. James McAvoy. That's it.
Okay. You could have said one of the movies. Or said it was Professor X. I could have told you it was James McAvoy.
I said Charles Xavier.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Maybe I just zoned there.
I think you did.
I might have zoned.
It's okay. But I don't know. I liked seeing those interactions. I liked seeing Days of Futures Past, kind of like bringing those two worlds together, you know, because it was like kind of the first multiverse stuff, you know, that we see in these movies.
Oh, don't say that word.
I get that.
Kevin Feige's ears are burning right now. You better hold off, buddy.
All right. I don't think they are. It's a tabooed word right now.
No, it's
But yeah, that movie was always good. Futures Past was always good for me. Just kind of sitting on the edge of the seat to see what would happen, and if they could get it done. But then the Deadpool movies come around. What is your thoughts on Deadpool 1 and 2?
I did not see either in the movie theater. I was very against. I don't want to say against. It just sounds just like mean spirited. But I will say, I mean, I was like a teenager, man. It was like high school when Deadpool 1 came out. You know, I think we might have been like sophomores or juniors in high school. Because it was like maybe 20.
I thought we were in college.
It was either 2012, 2013, or 2014, Deadpool 1.
I don't
maybe not 2012.
It's 2015.
I don't know, but it was around that age. We were still pretty young.
We were young.
We were pretty young. And I think I was just like, I'm angsty and I'm like, man, I don't like anything. And like,
I know, I can attest to that.
I definitely didn't want to like the first film. I didn't want to watch it. I saw the trailers and I guess I also never really had a huge interest in Deadpool as a character. I didn't particularly like his comics. I just didn't particularly like the fourth wall breaking stuff. I was, like I was such a kid who loved really awesome, creative storytelling with these characters. And not to say he doesn't have those. He definitely did, but I wasn't reading those comics. So I didn't know. I just thought, oh, this is just a guy. He's just here for laughs, basically. And like you watch the trailer and, you see Ryan Reynolds just popping off doing his thing. And you're like, I don't know if that's for me. It just sounds like stupid fart jokes. And that sounds dumb. I don't want to watch that. And I wrote it off. I was just hating on it, until I did see it. And I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay. I still wasn't like a huge fan, of it, but I thought it was okay. Then Deadpool 2 came around and I was like, oh, they're taking this one a little bit more seriously. It's got a bit more interesting of a story than Deadpool 1. And then I think they also did a great job of casting
Cable.
Casting Cable as Josh Brolin. That was just like perfect casting. He knocked the role out of the park. And I want to say that was after... Was that after him doing Thanos?
Yeah, I think it was right after he did Infinity War.
Honestly. Yeah, like I don't think Endgame had came out yet, but yeah, I think Infinity War did come out. So like we had seen him, we knew, and we had that hype, being like, oh, Thanos is now in this. Like, so, that I'm sure that helped and brought people over, and he did a fantastic job, and that made me also want to go watch it. So I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is cool. Still not one of my favorites, and I still wasn't like over the moon, but I like them both. They're not in my top 10 of Marvel movies, but they're definitely not my top 10 worst or least favorite.
Yeah,
either.
No, they're good popcorn flicks. They're good to sit down and kind of just revisit and just laugh at some of the jokes that are.
They're fun. They're fun. They're fun. They're funny.
Fine.
Yeah, they do their job well.
I will say that I do like the first one more than the second one. I like the tone shift of like the second one trying to be a little more serious, but because of that, I think it made the jokes less funny, and just made it felt like Deadpool had to be funny or was trying too hard to be funny, and it just kind of like I laughed at some of the things, but it just made me go like, okay. But we did get like really good. Like I love the X-Force scene. Like the X-Force scenes are so funny.
The X-Force scene. I feel like that's just such a standout in that film.
Yeah, that was it. But they showed that in the trailer. So I feel like they showed all the funny bits in the trailer, and then everything else came out of that, and it was just kind of like, okay, well, it is what it is. But. I think this Deadpool 1 and 2 are solid films. They're nothing too crazy, except they break the mold we were having so much frequently. Like, this is what a superhero movie is,
Yeah, I guess that is a good thing to point out as well. The Deadpool movies were the only like break in the monotony of an MCU film at the time. because I don't think What If had came out at that point.
No.
So we really only had MCU films, and I don't even think we had our first MCU TV show, which was what? Was it WandaVision?
WandaVision was the first.
Yeah, that hadn't came out in between Deadpool 1 and 2. So you're right. Those two movies did serve as like our only real break from that.
Yeah. And I think they did fine. I don't think I agree. I think they did a good job. Logan, also bringing that up, we got to talk about Wolverine. I felt kind of also breaks the mold in the sense that it's rated R, but it is still kind of your typical superhero film.
I think Logan is such an anomaly because it was just kind of like thrown in there. Like it always felt like a movie that wasn't connected to anything. Mm-hmm. Like, even though it's like, yeah, you still have Patrick Stewart, in there, and you got obviously Hugh Jackman, but like they pulled in characters from the Fox universe. It still never felt like, yeah, somewhere in the timeline of the Fox universe, this is where they eventually got, and this is where that movie is now. It always just kind of felt like this is just a movie, like
it was a standalone.
Yeah.
The timeline for X-Men films is so jacked up. It's kind of just like it was respected as a standalone send-off, but
right.
Is going to obviously get thrown back in as like, oh, it's still canon, but
right.
That being said, that was supposed to be Hugh Jackman's final goodbye, shake, pat you on the ass,
which is crazy because I feel like when you saw that too, it was almost like the same thing. I mean, it was pretty much the same thing as the Robert Downey Jr. thing with Endgame, where it's like you spent all these years with this character. We spent all these years with Hugh Jackman. And now this is, and they even marketed it this way. They didn't do the same for RDJ. You just had to experience it when you watch the film, but they marketed it in a way of like, like this is his last outing. He talks about it in the press tours. Like, I'm done after this. I really feel like I put my all into this one. And, all the things that they were saying during that whole press run. And it got you hyped, especially for fans who know the comic, the Old Man Logan comic. You know what's about to happen, and you're just waiting for it to unfold, and you really just want to see how they did. And you see it, and like James Mangold did fantastic. Like, it was a fantastic movie. They encapsulated like that comic and adapting it to the big screen very, very well. And then you felt like they closed the book on that, and you're just like, wow. Like I remember being like almost emotional watching that, because you're just like, you were a kid and you grew up watching this. Now you're, a young adult, and you're like seeing a part of your childhood like be done with. It's like, oh, we're never gonna get any more X-Men movies, probably, at least not with those casts. We're never gonna get any more Wolverine, at least not with Hugh Jackman. And like, wow, I mean, if we're gonna go out, like, I'm glad they went out on this movie because that was so perfect.
Yeah, and then I think came out the kind of the worst X-Men films after that, which is like New Mutants, Apocalypse was kind of in there. Where we got Dark Phoenix, where we got Bambi leg, James McAvoy walking up the stairs.
Oh God, not the Bambi legs.
I honestly really like that scene. I thought that was hilarious, but like, I don't know.
Hilarious is crazy. I don't know if that scene was supposed to be funny.
It wasn't supposed to be funny.
People were laughing in the theater though.
I was laughing.
That's crazy.
I loved it, but not for the reasons why.
Not for the reasons intended.
Yeah.
Boy, was that guy acting.
Yeah.
He said he really couldn't stand. That's how great of an actor he is. He was struggling to stand up. Look at those legs.
Do you think if this is a side tangent, do you think that was James McAvoy's Blade 3 where he refused to open up his eyes and they just said, we'll just strap him up and we'll just have to dangle him like a puppet? Or
that's
you think
crazy.
That's just James McAvoy trying his best to...
They said, the Fox people said, we're going to trank him and we're just going to string him up on some strings and we're just going to just puppeteer his way through the rest. Nah, you can't say that. Dude was acting in that film. Yeah, he was acting.
And he did good.
Him and like, I mean, everyone did fine in that movie. I'm not gonna sit here and discredit any of the actors for that film. They all did a really good job. I think that film suffered a lot from maybe script changes. I'm not aware of what was going on with that. I know they were having some rights kind of issues with the villains. And, that's why we
Yeah.
kind of got some weirdness with like changing the names. It was like at one point, was it going to be Skrulls or were they going to be something else?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And it's just like, what's going on? And they named them something weird. I don't remember. They were like nameless villains, I think, nameless aliens, which made it
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it was they gave up. Honestly, I think they just gave up. And not saying that the acting and the directing.
I think with what I know now about like how movies get made, I don't think that that's probably necessarily was the case. I think that, sometimes when so much isn't, because like the thing is about, think about when you make a movie, it's an investment. It's like buying a new car every time you make a movie, but that car costs like millions of dollars. And no one just wants to just like, no one either wants to or even has, like no director or one producer just has or wants to shell out millions of dollars of their own money for this movie to be made, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to get people to pitch in and say, hey, I'll give you this, but you got to give me this in return. It's usually more money, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, cool. But, I got to sell the movie and it's got to make money first, right?
Right.
But I think, you make that promise, like you have a loan now and you get so far down along the line of the process. And if things aren't panning out in the way that you want to, you can't just say, well, F it, guys.
Yeah,
Guess we'll pack it up. We'll try again next time. No, you gotta put it out. Especially if, you got people to pay back. Yeah, you gotta put that out. So I don't think it's necessarily a thing of like people gave up. I think like other factors were contributing to the decisions that they made. And it's like once the train got rolling, like you can't stop it now. Like we have to kind of just work with what we got and hope people see it. And people will always go see X-Men movies. You could make an X-Men movie tomorrow and put a whole new cast in, and people are still gonna go see it. It's not gonna. I don't think it will necessarily do terrible. I think the main reason why New Mutants did terrible was because that one took so long to get in the theaters. They changed the release date a million times, and it was also during the pandemic.
Did it even get released in theaters?
I don't think so. I think eventually they just had to drop it on HBO.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was Max or on Disney Plus or something.
Yeah, I think it was Max.
I never saw it. I still haven't. That's like the only X-Men film I haven't seen.
It's okay.
But, kind of bringing it back to the Wolverine stuff, and then we'll move on with a game you got for us. We got Wolverine coming back. How did you feel like he came back? Was it like a breath of fresh air, like seeing an old friend? Like, what was your thought process of him stepping back into the boots and to the claws?
It was cool. I mean, that man can do that role in his sleep. Like he's so perfectly casted. He's just so well seasoned as an actor, and he does so well in that character with his performances every single time. It's like, what more can you ask for? Other than, can you just do this for the rest of your life? Yeah. Can you do this for the rest of your life? Please.
I
know you want to do other things. I know you do, but
I mean, I'm sure they'll bring him back a couple times.
And it's not even like, don't think about it. It's not like one of those things where it's like, well, I don't want them to only know me for this. But it's like, man, you're great. I love you. Just do this forever. Please. No, actually, do it makes your heart happy. But please do this also forever. It's good. It's great seeing him. I'm glad he's in it. I'm glad he decided to come back. I'm sure that Marvel check was hefty.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Yeah, I think he's great in it. I know there was rumbling about Wolverine being recasted, but I just don't think. I just
don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, I don't think that would have been appropriate. Like it was needed.
Yeah.
But I think that's it for this first kind of opening segment. Do you want to go into the game that you got? Or you want to take a small break, or you want to?
I kind of want to do the game last, just because it's kind of fun. Like I feel like if we do the game now, then stop, then.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
that might be a little odd.
All right. Well, then I guess we'll just dive right into the longer in-depth review. So if you have not seen the movie yet, there probably will be spoilers in this film or in this review.
Yes,
so,
big spoilers.
Go see the movie. I don't know why you haven't if you're watching this.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people that are that, you know, and I've done this myself where it's like, you know, you want to see a movie and you're like, well, I need to see what other people think about it before seeing it. I know you because that you are me and I am also me but I am also you and I know you. So don't do that. Don't stop listening to this. Stop watching this. Go watch the movie. Go give this film money. We want to see more films in theaters, and this is a movie that is worth your money. It's worth your money. Okay?
Agreed.
Go see it and then come back. Spoilers. Sorry.
All right. First off, do you feel like they tarnish Logan at all with this opening sequence?
No. So I feel like using Logan's corpse from his movie, Logan, is like ingenious. It's I thought it was so clever, so smart, and just right on brand for Deadpool. And not only that, it wasn't played as just a gag. You know, like where you would think that if they were trying to be a bit disrespectful and it was a bit more lowbrow, it would be something super quick and simple, just like he took his remains and like smack somebody with it one time. Like, no, he like really just used a bunch of his bones and just murdered a lot of TVA people. And like, I feel like that's, you know, a good use of bones, you know?
It's a good use of bones.
It was a good use of bones. and you know, not for nothing, he actually like uses the claws and
yeah, that was sweet.
Yeah, that was sick. I'm like, this is like, how could you be mad at that? Because where else? This is what we talk about all the time. You know, it's been a while since we talked about this, but I always like to say, for me, a movie is a movie when it shows me something that I could never see. I never could have seen anywhere else. And that's like a paraphrase quote from some big director. I don't remember who, but I remember I heard this years and years ago, and it's always stuck with me. And now that's how I look at films all the time. It's like, if I see a movie and it shows me something I've never seen before, takes me to a place I've never seen before, you know, has some very interesting, unique thing about it, I feel like I've really watched a film. And I say that for this. Where else could you watch a movie where Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool takes the hand bone remains of Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine and from the Logan movie and murders a bunch of Disney, Marvel, TVA members that we've seen in Loki.
And then also dances to NSYNC.
You can dance and yeah, you're right. And does this all while synchronized dancing the whole dance number to NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye. You can't cinema. Just cinema. Okay? Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I love the opening sequence. It's kind of become a meme, honestly. Like the people who have seen the movie are like really into it.
They should be.
It's great. I love the whole opening. I think it's so it gets funny at some points, but not atrocious funny, you know, not like in a like, oh, why is this here? Why are they trying to make a joke at this point? You know,
right.
It just is generally funny. We get some great dance sequences, and then there was something else. Oh, there was somebody who was like, I had a friend who went to go see it, and he said that there was a person who was sitting next to them in his group, and he was into it. And then when he saw like them messing with like the Wolverine stuff, he looked like he had the biggest frown on his face pretty much for the rest of the film.
No.
Yeah, like he was visibly mad.
He didn't like it.
Yeah, he didn't like it. And
there's always going to be that person,
yeah,
though, you know, and you can't please everyone. Art is also subjective. So maybe that guy had some deep personal connection to Logan's remains from the movie Logan that you never see in the movie Logan. Maybe he had a really deep personal connection.
I get that, but it's also like, I don't know. It's a Deadpool film. We
got to respect that guy's feelings, Ian.
I do respect it.
He's having a big feeling.
Yeah, I agree with you. I respect it. I mean, I don't even know. I wasn't even there, but I respect it. But I don't know. I think you need to lighten up. I think it's just a silly superhero film at the end of the day. So
that is also true. What do they always like to say? It's no Citizen Kane.
No, though that was I saw another was like somebody tried to make an argument that every film tries to either be Citizen Kane or tries to be the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, wait. Not even close.
No.
What is that analogy? What is the Wizard of Oz supposed to be? Is that like the antithesis of like goofy movie? Or not important
No,
movie?
their main story beats like somebody falls into a dream or falls into an alternate reality, and then they go around and.
Oh, so you're talking about like one movie trope versus a different movie. What is the movie trope of Citizen Kane? I've never seen that.
Oh, you never seen Citizen Kane? No, it's good. That one also kind of falls into a dream, but it's kind of shows kind of like the life of that character as they die. And then, so sorry if spoilers for Citizen Kane and The Wizard of Oz as well. Those are super old films. So
so what is the analogy? I'm confused about what you're saying.
The analogy for this is that these are like some of the best films made in cinema. And so movies either try to be this or that. In this case, they try to argue that Deadpool 3 or Deadpool and Wolverine is trying to be like Wizard of Oz.
So it's not like saying Citizen Kane is good movie, Wizard of Oz is bad movie.
No.
Both good movies, but different approach to being a good movie.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. We're on the same page.
Yes. So I've seen people make that a point, especially because Deadpool and towards the middle, not towards the middle, towards the end, kind of makes that joke of like Marvel should have stayed out of the multiverse stuff, or they're tired of it. Like the Wizard of Oz did it better, So that was like,
they said that he made a Wizard of Oz reference.
Yeah,
I don't think I remember that.
You might have been zoned out, I guess.
I probably was.
I think it was during a big laugh, and then like he kind of said it as he was finishing out that laugh. But anyway, so we get our first Marvel crossover with the Fox universe to an extent. I mean, you see it a little bit with WandaVision.
Yeah.
With bringing in Quicksilvers from the Marvel films, which I think they personally dropped the ball on that reference. But what was do you think that I guess in my opinion, I don't think that this Deadpool film is necessarily in Deadpool itself is necessarily like a part of the sacred timeline that they have been pushing. I think that they are really pushing that there's separate timelines now, so that they're not so constrictive of being like so canon. You know what I mean? I think that's what I'm seeing.
I honestly agree, because I think that a lot of people are going to get confused about that. And that, again, that is kind of like I shouldn't say again, I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but I do think that this is one of the issues that we're having with the MCU right now, is that a lot of things aren't being just like straightforward when it comes to this like timeverse, multiverse, like timelines and whatnot. And it's like, this is canon, that's not canon, this applies and this doesn't apply. So I do think that you're right. I think that they chose to use this movie as a way to kind of say, goodbye to the Fox cinematic universe and its characters that we all grew to love and hate over the years, while also not necessarily saying hello to Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, but kind of just, I feel like it's more of like a passing like wave and acknowledgement of just like, hey guys, yeah, you're over there.
Like, I feel like they'll definitely be back.
I don't think they're gonna bring
Avengers film.
Yeah, I could see them doing it for a multiverse film, but I just don't. I don't think we should expect to see Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman show up in like Loki season 3.
No,
or
well,
like
maybe Loki. I mean, Loki is about the multiverse.
I still don't think so.
I don't think he'd be in like.
I don't think so.
I don't think he'd be in Falcon and Winter Soldier or something.
Definitely not that. But like, I would even say not even like Loki, because you look at the tone and like the direction thematically that they are going in with Loki. They haven't really branched off into that much of like zaniness to the point to where it would make sense or feel right to have Deadpool in that kind of show. You know, I really do feel like they kind of just like have them over here, and it's like, if we really need you, we'll pull you off the bench because we left the door cracked so we can. But I don't think we're really going any farther with that right now. Like, we're gonna focus on all, and as they should. And, you know, as much as I would love to see more Hugh Jackman, and also I'd love to see Deadpool interact with some of like the MCU characters. I think that'd be really interesting to see. But I want to see him interact with people who wouldn't be the ones that I think everyone would want to see. Like, I don't want to see him interact with other quippy people. Yeah. Like, I don't want to see him interact with like Tom Holland Spider-Man. I want to see him interact with like some of like the kind of like more quiet or like, you know, like lower key people. Because I feel like that would just, you know, you got to have that balance that I feel like that would balance out. But
the Spider-Man and Deadpool are pretty big team up in the comics
I
as well.
I know, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it yet.
What did you think of the montage of Wolverines that we get? And then this would be our first cameo drop of the one cameo that we saw. Like, what did you think those were pretty funny? Or
I thought it was hilarious. I love that bit. I thought that bit was just super goofy, and like it's just another fun way to pay homage to like people who read the comics. You know, like you're seeing all these different iterations of Wolverine, and I feel like stuff like that is really multiverse stuff done really well. You know, I don't want to say done right or done wrong, but definitely I would say done really well. And I think that only in a Deadpool movie could you really pull that kind of thing off. And so I'm glad that they did it in that way. And it just was entertaining, you know, and to the one cameo that we had with Henry Cavill playing Wolverine, I thought that was really funny.
The Calverine, right?
The Calverine. Yeah. Was that like a fan casting or something?
Yeah,
okay. It wasn't like that he actually auditioned for the role or anything. So. I didn't think so either. I was thinking maybe this was just one of those popular like Donald Glover as Miles Morales fan casting things that picks up a bunch of steam. And that's why they did it, you know, because I was like, I'd never heard of this. I've never, you know, and I'm sure it has been a thing, but like I didn't know if that was like more of a legitimate thing. Like, yeah, he, you know, got beat out by Hugh. So this is what never was. Yeah, no, I think it's definitely a fan casting. I think, honestly, I've seen more people try to make an argument for Daniel Radcliffe to come in as Wolverine. I've seen that too.
Or Taron Egerton as well from Kingsman.
I don't know if I see that one.
I see that less than both of those two, but I definitely see Daniel Radcliffe, I think, could probably pull it off.
I don't see that.
You don't think so? I think he could. I mean, with the right direction.
He's too young of a face.
I mean, but he's old. He's older than us.
It's like the face though. Like he's a very young face. That's a compliment to him. He has a very young face.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, I have a very young face. He has a very young face as well.
It would be a younger Wolverine most likely, but
that doesn't work.
But
I feel like Wolverine's always the same age.
That's also true. He's kind of like been.
He's
around
like perpetually like
1800s.
42 or something.
Yeah, I get that.
Like he always looks that way.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you never see a young Wolverine outside of in the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. I guess I haven't.
He was a kid
about it that way, but which is also kind of funny. They're all British, besides the guy who actually plays them, which is Australian, right? But
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, interesting. There's a lot of Brits right now in the American cinema, which is not a bad thing. I don't think that's bad at all, but I think it's interesting because you'll be watching people and be like, oh, you know, they have a decent American accent, and then they go on interviews and you're like, oh, I didn't realize they were British.
All the time.
But anyways, that's a side tangent, but
no, you're good.
So we get to the montage of Wolverine. You know, we obviously meet him. They bring him back, make some more jokes and some more funny time. But then we get to the Void. I love the jokes of the Void being the wasteland from Mad Max. I think those are hilarious.
I will say this is probably the moment where my first like gripe with the film does come in.
Really?
Yeah, only because I think when you're a part of the audience and not a part of the team making the film, you get to kind of criticize these films as a whole amongst all the other superhero films that stack up against it. And there is something to be said about the countless number of Marvel movies that end up with a huge like desolate like wasteland kind of area that we fight in, and we shoot our laser beams and fly around, and it's like, yeah, I know that's kind of like a thing in comics for sure, but there like let's not get it twisted, there are definitely some really crazy set piece places that are in comic books that like we don't always get to see in these movies, you know, and I know, like, you know, like a lot of that has to do with production value that might not be there, budget that might not be there, stuff like that, or just maybe the vision wasn't there for it to begin with. But it does kind of make me a bit sad when I do see a superhero movie and I do see yet again another kind of big wasteland of a place. And like this one is kind of written into the story. Mm-hmm. I don't think that necessarily makes it better, right, you know, because it's like you could just write a different setting.
Right.
But I get it, though. You know, it's the void. You know, it's a wasteland where things go to die or be there forever or whatever. The void. Yeah. I get it. But I just wish that we could have had a you know, more flashier set piece. It just, all it does is it just it gives you more cases to make your film have that moment or those moments where people can step back and go, wow, I would have never gotten that anywhere else, you know. But I can't say that about its main setting, because I can say I can go see a wasteland, a bunch of superheroes fighting in a wasteland in the Eternals movie, or I could see that
well,
in
they did, kind of. I said they did kind of.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I can go. Like I can. Okay. Yeah, like I'm saying you have a lot of instances of saying something similar. Same thing with like Ant-Man and the Wasp. If I had a wasteland in that, not that visually different.
No,
you know. Like you can just say that for a lot of other superhero movies, but yeah, no, we can keep going. But I just wanted to point that out. That was my first real like gripe, and it did not take away from my enjoyment of the film at all. Yeah, you know, you still enjoy the film. I feel like people that have gripes like that and they're just sitting there, you know, with a perpetual frown on their face,
like that one guy.
That one guy
sat next to.
Yeah, that guy your friend sat next to. Yeah, I think those people need a bit more happiness in their life, because like it ain't that deep, man.
Right. Yeah. Back on track to the comedy with him mentioning Mad Max stuff. I thought it was funny. I think it's also just a kind of appropriate because, you know, we just had Furiosa come out. So that made me just kind of think of that movie during that time and just kind of compare both and how fun I had with both, viewing both.
So I liked that too. I think the joke was funny. My only issue though then still comes, like, at least for me, like at that point I'm still in that headspace of like, yeah, like you're like, we're in this setting that's kind of like not super unique, and now you're making a reference to another movie that has a somewhat similar setting, but the difference being that Mad Max makes you engaged because the whole time it's like high octane speed chasing with all these incredibly built cars. Like that's where the production value went, you know, like yeah, like the desert wasteland is cool, but it, you know, like you don't pay attention to it after a while. You're not like, it's backdrop, you know, what you're really looking at is the actors' faces. You're looking at in the cars that and the vehicles that they're all riding, because they're all insane, and the people that are riding on these vehicles. Yeah, that's part of it. So like when you make this reference to Mad Max, and it's like in that moment, yeah, it makes sense, because, you know, you got these people riding on these weird looking car things or whatever, but then that's like it. We don't do any, like I was thinking maybe we were gonna get like a Mad Max type like chase scene or something.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? But it wasn't like it was just quick joke about it, and then we went into a different direction. So that just really just brought me back into it of just kind of like, oh, okay, you know, we're not doing that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I get how you could be referenced to that and be like, okay, well, maybe we'll get this, but it ends up not being. We do get some cameos during these scenes that I forgot to mention. So we get 3 X-Men like movie cameos and then one kind of Fantastic Four cameo.
Yeah, you get, I want to say it's Sabretooth. You get Nightcrawler.
I thought it was Toad.
You're right. It was Toad.
Yeah.
It was Toad and Sabretooth and somebody else.
Pyro.
Oh, and Yeah, you're right. And Pyro. I don't think that it was the same actor playing Toad.
It is. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I couldn't tell because he just kind of looked like he was just a guy with a tongue.
Yeah, no, I think I'm pretty sure it was confirmed like it's the same guy.
Well,
and then we
good.
also
Good
get
for him.
We get Sabretooth from the first X-Men film and not the X-Men Origins.
We're just going to ignore that.
We'll ignore that. We'll come to that later.
No one's going to know even what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. We're just going to keep going.
We could probably just edit that out. But anyways.
No, it's fine.
Anyways. It's the Sabretooth who was also the same Sabretooth from X-Men 1 and not X-Men Origins.
Was he only in X-Men 1?
He was, because they kill him off pretty much in X-Men 1. They they have that one liner. Well, I guess Storm.
I wonder why would they not get Liev Schreiber to come back and do, is it Liev or Liv? I never know how to pronounce his name. I'm sorry, dog. You a real
I know
one,
who you're
though.
talking about.
But the other Sabretooth. Like, why didn't they get him to come back when was it just X-Men Origins that he was in?
Yeah, it was just.
Oh, okay.
Because
So
he dies off in that too, I think.
Dang, they really don't like that character.
No. Well, Wolverine he can't stand him. He got to cut him.
Does he though?
No, not really, I guess.
I didn't think so.
And then we get the biggest cameo.
Yeah, they faked this out. They tried to make us think that we were going to get Captain America, which I thought was cheeky. Super, super cheeky.
It was a great... I loved it.
It took me a second to even realize who he was when he... Because, like, you see him and I'm also thinking, oh, it's Captain America. That's great. Yeah. But I think they, it worked so well because you know the audience wants that. Mm-hmm. And we're so far removed from... What's his name?
Johnny Storm.
No, the actor's name.
Oh, Chris Evans.
Yeah, we're so far removed from Chris Evans playing Johnny Storm that there's no way you're thinking about that. And then he goes flame on, and you're just like, oh, it's him.
It was a great theater experience because there was just an audible gasp of like, wait, what? And just everybody just started busting out laughing.
No, you literally almost had to like remind yourself like, oh, he did play that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was just so long ago.
Yeah, it was. It
Even
was like
though he had
2005.
2 movies. But in that span of time after that, we had Michael B. Jordan play that character. Mm-hmm. And then I think that was it, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was just that. Fan Four Stick.
Yeah.
And then we just forgot about him.
We forgot about him until, they released a bunch of stuff coming up, but
cool cameo.
Yeah, it was such a fun cameo. I loved it. I knew he probably was not going to survive that for that much longer.
Really?
Yeah, I figured they weren't going to keep him.
I was kind of hoping he was going to, help him like fight, and I really wanted to see him like do something cool with his powers. Like, and see what they... Well, I don't know. Maybe that would have been too expensive.
I think... Well, it might have been too expensive, but I also think that I think they knew that it's like, this is a joke. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going
to go too deep into this.
Yeah. So they just were like, whatever. We'll just make this joke. And then we get into, this new Ant-Man type lair thing with the main villain. Is she the main villain?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cassandra
the main
Nova?
villain. Yeah.
Who else would be the main villain?
The TVA. The subvert TVA. Well, Paradox. Paradox would be kind of the side villain. He's the antagonist.
Was that his name?
Paradox, yeah.
I forgot that was his name.
It shows how much you pay attention, I guess.
I think I was zoned out. Was I zoned out?
I guess you were.
I feel like maybe I was zoned out. Did I watch this film? No,
I remember hearing you laugh, so... We were sitting in different rows, though. But,
that's crazy.
Yeah. But anyways, what did you think of the evil lair? What did you think of our villain?
I love the fact that it's Scott Lang's body, his literal decomposed corpse that they've made into a lair. I don't know. My thing is that I don't know if it's supposed to be meta funny because not a lot of people like Ant-Man when it comes to MCU fans, or if it was just like there just because they had to pick someone and they just picked him. Like, I really want to know what the thinking was behind that one, because if it was meta in the sense of they know people don't like him and they would really enjoy seeing that, then that's really funny.
I think it's meta because I watched some breakdown videos. If you watch some New Rockstars, which is where I got this from, is great. Because they did a very big deep dive into every little nook and cranny that they can think is a cameo. Sometimes it's not, but I think this one at least is a theory that it's meta, because in Endgame, when they're having the big final fight sequence, there's two Ant-Mans. There's there's Giant Man who's beating up the Leviathan thing and throwing it into a portal, but he's also, they cut to Ant-Man and the Wasp doing stuff, trying to get stuff into like the other time machine in the van.
So you're saying, how are there two Ant-Mans?
Yeah.
Ant-Manning it up at the same time.
Correct. So the theory is, at least from New Rockstars, is that it's a pruned Giant Man that wasn't supposed to be there. So like that's crazy.
Joke.
It's a joke of like, it's a very meta joke.
It's a variant.
Yeah, he's a variant. Yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, we know that he's a variant because Cassandra said as much, so, for like all the like people there pretty much are variants. But to connect it to that, and that one being a variant from Endgame, that's crazy. And that makes sense now.
Yeah.
Like it actually makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I'm here for the conspiracy.
It might just be a conspiracy, and they might want to just make a Paul Rudd joke.
Dude, the tinfoil hat is on right now.
Yeah.
Fitted and tight.
That's good.
You got yours?
It's under my hair. Yeah.
It's under your hair?
Yeah.
All right. That's
I had it
weird
fitted.
place to put it.
Yeah.
You had it fitted under your hair? What? Okay.
Anyways. Yeah. So I like the lair. I thought the lair was fun. We got more cameos of Marvel characters, but it was like kind of characters that I don't think that they had either the budget for, or they just weren't showing up for. Like there's a character that kind of looks like Bullseye
but it wasn't Colin Farrell. Boo.
And then there was a character that looked like
Azazel,
and
but it wasn't that guy either.
Well, I think Azazel was Azazel,
but
I think that was Azazel. But there was like, they obviously got a new Juggernaut. They got
that one was crazy.
The dude from the Punisher films, he's like wearing the red and white shirt, the Russian.
No, really?
Yeah,
he was in there.
Yeah, but it wasn't the actor. It wasn't Kevin Nash. It was just some other guy.
I did not notice him.
Yeah, I didn't notice him at first either. New Rockstars. They're good.
That would have been crazy if they would have had like a little bit, right? Where he's fighting someone. Maybe it would have been hilarious if it was him fighting Deadpool, and they did a throwback and brought the music back from his fight with Punisher.
Yeah.
Gosh, that would have been perfect.
Yeah. So there was little nods.
Missed opportunities.
And everything. There was just so many, but it was either due to restraints on money or just restraints from the actors just not wanting to show up, or do it. So, but there are little nods like that in there. So,
yeah.
Then we got. I think the villain was pretty compelling. I would like to. I don't know if we're ever going to get her again, but I would like to see more of her. If that
I want to see more of her freakishly long CGI hands.
Yeah,
those fingers.
Yeah. Yeah, I
feel like she belongs in the Everything Everywhere movie with them long ass fingers.
Hot dog hands. Yeah,
the hot dog hands are crazy.
I did kind of towards the end of it. I got tired of seeing her fingers up in everybody's face.
You think she washes those hands?
No, I think she just licks hands. Them. I think she's just like. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
That's crazy. She in the Dorito bag?
Yeah, she in the Dorito bag.
She in and not licking her fingers, and then getting all up in that head.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think she cares.
That's wild.
But anyways, we get we get some after we get that sequence and that events, Johnny Storm's dead. We move on to, another Wolverine fight. We do run into a variant of Deadpool. We're actually two variants of Deadpool. Did you like Nice Pool and Dog Pool? Did you like the variants of Deadpool?
That's a tough one to answer, only because I've said earlier in the pod, I've never really been a huge Deadpool fan. So like the other variants of Deadpool it's not like it doesn't do much for me. It's kind of like, I think Ryan Reynolds nails Deadpool, and I like to see him do Deadpool stuff now. Like I enjoy it now. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but I enjoy it. It's fun. I don't really, since I'm not like a super Deadpool fan, I don't really care about other variants of Deadpool, except I do like Gwenpool. Gwenpool is super fucking cool, and I was hoping we were going to get Gwenpool, and we didn't get Gwenpool. But that's okay. We got close. We got Ladypool. It's different. Fine. It is different. It's not Gwenpool. Gwenpool crazy. Gwenpool super cool.
Yeah.
Or like, is there a Squirrel Girl version of Deadpool, or am I making that up?
I know Squirrel Girl exists. I think it's made up. Well, I think it's just what you're thinking.
I think I'm just I think it's just Gwenpool.
Yeah.
But Nice Pool is cool. He's funny for the bits. Definitely funny. I love his long luscious hair.
Yeah, it was very nice.
It was giving maybe in an alternate timeline, Ryan Reynolds plays Netflix version of Geralt from The Witcher.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get canceled, or they have to change actors for whatever reason. Moving on. But no, I thought he was cool. I also thought that the dog pool was disgusting. I'm not one of those people that likes ugly dogs and thinks that they're cute. I'm sorry. Keep that away from me.
That's fair.
Like, put a bag over its head.
Dang.
Like,
that is, I think
keep him
too far.
Too far?
Yeah, it's a dog.
Nah, dude. You don't want to know what I think that is.
Okay, we'll move on then.
I'm sorry. You have an ugly dog.
I like dogs.
Isn't that what it is?
I have a nice dog. It's a nice, beautiful dog.
Is he ugly though?
No, I wouldn't say so. My parents' dog is a little ugly, yeah. But
no, not Mila. Their parents'
dog is Edgar.
Yeah, Edgar. He's a little bit. He's not that.
He's a little ugly, but he's
nowhere near as ugly as this ugly Deadpool dog.
No, not at all. No,
I wouldn't give that to him. He doesn't need to have a bag on his head.
No, I don't think he needs.
Maybe an eye patch over an eye.
He does. His eyes messed up. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we need to cover that up.
But anywho, so we do still get some more cameos though after that. I mean, I guess Ryan Reynolds as Nice Pool is not really a cameo, but it's a different version of Deadpool. So
yeah.
Anyways, we get some cameos now. We got like another cool Wolverine Deadpool fight, which I guess we could talk about that for a second. Did you enjoy those fights when we had them, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think this whole movie was kind of like the structure of it was just like, we're gonna fight, and then we're gonna stop, and I'm gonna tell you about kind of why I'm feeling this way and what I think we got to do, and then we're gonna fight, and then we're gonna talk about it and talk about why I'm feeling this way and what we gonna do, and that was kind of like the song and dance of the movie, which was fine because I think this movie was definitely an action comedy and not a comedy action. I think.
Yes, I agree.
The action kind of came a bit first, which is fine. Enjoyed it. I liked the action. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think this had some of the best action scenes from a Deadpool movie, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree too.
So I liked it. I liked the car fight with him and Wolverine. I kept thinking towards the end of it though, because it was just going on for so long. I was like, what? How does this end? How do we stop this? Does someone stop them? Or how does it end? And it just kind of had the cut to like probably some amount of time later, and Wolverine's found a way to strap up Deadpool with like seatbelt, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, guys, that's how it ends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought that was kind of funny. But now we get our final cameos. We got Blade. We got Wesley Snipes' Blade.
Yes.
We got Electro, which I can't think of her name right now.
Jennifer Garner. Thank you. The beautiful, the wonderful Jennifer Garner.
We got X2, obviously from Logan. And then we get also a very random but yet funny and great cameo from Channing Tatum as Gambit.
So good. Stole the show, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, he kind of stole the show.
That was, I think, their best meta joke.
Yeah.
That had to be their best meta joke, because it was just like one of those where you really did not expect that. And I loved how they played on the fact of like, this was something that everyone wanted. For whatever reason, me included.
I remember
we were all just like, Channing's our guy. We need him. Get him in the suit. Like I don't know why. I don't know who convinced us. I think maybe it was just like someone made an art piece. Yeah, and they were just exactly like, this happened. Looks perfect.
Yeah.
But then we see him in the suit and we see him with the bad accent, and you're just like, you feel like a dunce. You're just like, why did I ever want this? But, obviously that's not probably how he would have really acted. And they probably would have done a much better job of like getting like the hair and everything right. But I still do feel like after all that, still, I think he wasn't it for him.
Maybe. I guess only time could have told,
I don't know. I think like even taking away all like the obvious acting to play it up to make it worse. I just watched it and I was just kind of like, you know what? I don't see it at all. Why did we see it? Like I just don't see it, especially and I still haven't seen X-Men 97, but I've seen some clips of Gambit in that, and like he doesn't look like Channing Tatum.
No. Yeah. I really don't know why they. I mean, is he like from Louisiana or something? Or?
I think he really advocated for it for himself. Even I think he was even saying like, I have a really good, Louisiana accent, and like,
well, hopefully it was better than what he did in the show.
Oh, I'm sure it would have been, but it was just really funny to see that get played up for laughs. I think that was one of the best running jokes that they had. I think bringing back Wesley Snipes for Blade was probably one of the better cameo choices that they had for like a more serious cameo. My only gripe. Where's his sword? Where's the fucking sword?
Yeah, he didn't have a sword.
Why did you not have the sword?
Well, he had a sword when
did they not afford the sword?
He had a sword in the fight.
Where?
He had it. It didn't look like a katana, but he had a sword. It
wasn't his sword.
Well, yeah, you're right. He picked it up.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't have his sword. Where's his sword?
Maybe he lost it in the void.
I don't think when you get zapped and materialized or whatever, pruned, you get to keep the things that you have in your hand, right?
I think it depends. I think it depends on the writers writing stuff in.
Yeah, they could have wrote it in. They could have. Yeah. That could have been one of those things where like we don't need to question it. Just get like it's like what would be a good example? It'd be like no, that's not a good example. I'm trying to think of a good like one.
Cap without a shield.
No, that's not even a good one either, because it's like, yeah, the Cap with the shield is iconic, but Cap is like so capable without the shield.
That's fair.
The shield, like he almost doesn't really do that much with the shield outside of novelty. I know that's like really kind of like like not giving the shield its proper due, but let's be real, like every time you see him do something of note with the shield in any of the Marvel movies, it's usually and maybe novelty is not the word, but it's like a moment that is clearly scripted for him to use the shield. Most of the time when he's fighting, he usually either it's on his back, he's using it to block, or he just throws it and then it's gone somewhere. Yeah. And like he's got to get it again eventually, kind of thing. It's like the shield's not the most important thing. It kind of was just the symbol. And I was gonna say Iron Man without his suit, but then you think about Iron Man 3, and that man didn't really have a suit for most of that movie, and he was pretty freaking capable. Not as capable as normal, but he would find a way to probably build a suit, and that'd be marked like 77 or something like that. But I can't think of a good example of just like you gotta have the person with their iconic thing. And like, not to say that Blade isn't capable without his sword, because he is, but like I feel like he doesn't have a lot of gadgetry. He doesn't have a lot of like flair like with other things, and he's not like superhuman strong, I don't think. You know, he might be strong.
He's part vampire, so he's probably got a little bit of strength in him.
Yeah, but I think if we're going like scale
he's not
wise,
the Hulk.
I feel like he's probably maybe just super soldier strong.
Yeah,
maybe
probably
around,
probably a little less, maybe a little around.
Yeah, I think around super soldier level. But like he needs like the sword. Like you need the sword. The sword is you. You are the. He has the sword. He needs the sword. That's my gripe. We can get back to it, but I like X-23. I don't like calling her that. Because I feel like
it is X-23, not X2. Anyway.
No, you're fine. I don't like calling her that mainly because she doesn't have like the feet guys. And not just that, but I just feel like
I think she did.
Maybe she did.
I think she did for like a split second. And I don't think they emphasized on that much.
Okay.
So.
So we'll scratch the feet guys. It's not even really why I don't like calling her that. I don't like calling her that mainly because in the Logan movie, she's not really. That's not really like what she's referred to as, and we don't really know her as that. We know her as Laura, you know, because like that movie is kind of more so about giving these people a name and a purpose. Like we're looking at them as people and not, you know, numbers or an experiment. Which X-23 is just like it's just like Logan's name. Which what was his? It was the
X10,
X10 or something like that. Yeah, like that's his you know name. Excuse me, but we don't call him that. You know, we call him Logan. We call him Wolverine. That's his name. So that's why I think it's kind of interesting that a lot of people have kind of gone to just really referring to her as X-23 when like we really only know this character, this version as Laura. So I like calling her Laura. I like her a lot though. I loved Daphne Keane. I love her as Laura. I wish we could have even more of her as that character. I wish we'd have more of her in Hollywood in general. If you guys haven't seen His Dark Materials, watch that show. So good. She's amazing in it. And then my one gripe, though. I have a gripe. My one gripe. You ready for my gripe?
All right.
My one gripe.
Sure.
You ready?
Take it.
All right. That's my one gripe is that basically I don't like the fact that they showed her in the final trailer. I don't like that. I felt like that was their biggest like bomb, like real cameo, you know, like whereas having Channing Tatum as Gambit, who we've never seen before, it's not a real cameo. It's just kind of like a joke cameo. I feel like Daphne Keane as Laura was their real emotional weight bomb because of what that character represented. And this is the first time we have seen, and maybe the last time we will get to see her interact with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, even though it's not the same. And I remember seeing the trailer and having that, like hype moment. But I really feel like that should have been reserved for the theater.
That's fair.
You know, because imagine like if you had no clue. And you're thinking like, oh, you know, some of these are fun little cameos. This is fun. This is great. And then Daphne Keane pops out with the whole like turning of the head. They're flipping her hair. You know, you were never that guy. You'd be like, oh my God, no, we got Daphne Keane. Like you'd be so hyped. And I feel like that hypeness you would get to ride out for the like that last act of the movie because she doesn't really show up till kind of like. I think like Act 2, like towards the end of Act 2, really, you know. So that was my one gripe with that cameo. Jennifer Garner as Elektra is great.
Yeah, she was so good.
Yeah, I've always loved that movie. You know, it's just another one of those like they're not perfect movies, but they're fun. They're fun. I like her as Elektra.
Yeah, my wife loves her. My wife is like.
I think a lot of women love that movie. To be honest,
yeah,
like my sister loves that movie. Probably more than I do. My cousin loves that movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Garner is amazing.
All right. So I kind of want to start wrapping it up on this long, in-depth review. What was a joke that you did not like at all? And then we'll end it there. Well, also with my part. But
I don't know if I can think of one that I didn't particularly like all that much, to be honest. I think they were all to me pretty okay. I definitely think there might have been a couple that I didn't really fully laugh at, but I never like groaned or anything like that, or was like, "Oh, that's too far," or,
Yeah.
"That's not funny." I don't know. Did you have funny?
I did. When he first said it, it was kind of like, okay, it was the baby knife joke that he kept on saying.
Oh, baby knife.
He would pull out a knife and be like, "Oh, baby knife," and then like stab somebody with it or whatever. The first time he said it, I was like, okay, whatever. But then he kept on saying it, and I just was like,
You weren't here for the baby knife.
Why are we saying this? Like, no, I wasn't. Like, if he just pulled it out, he would just pull it out. I don't know. It was a bit. It was a bit.
It was a bit.
And it wasn't a bit
like
that I
bit.
didn't like.
You didn't like
it was a bit I didn't like, and that was like, there was a few other things I didn't like about it, or a few other jokes that I didn't laugh at, but that was definitely my least favorite one. And every time he would say it, I'm just like, oh god. I'm like, why are we saying this again? But that was my least favorite.
Are you
joke.
against babies having proportioned knives?
Well, I don't think that's necessarily what he meant, but like,
so you're not against babies having accurately proportioned knives?
But I am, but I just didn't like the joke.
That's fair.
But yeah, I mean, like, wrapping it up, the final sequence is great. The fight sequence, the one shot they do.
Yeah, the bus
great.
fight scene.
Yeah.
Super
It's
fun.
got really great, funny cameos, and I love, well, not cameos, but funny, like, variants of Deadpool interacting with the real Deadpool, and just how they started off with Deadpool just kind of like doing the singing in the rain shot, but he's like, firing his gun. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was good. That whole final fight with Wolverine and Deadpool, I thought was like just chef's kiss of just really fun choreography and like an awesome display of their abilities and everything. And
Yeah.
I also loved like how as soon as the dog comes out, everyone's like, "Oh, the dog!" And then when what was it, Alan comes out?
Nice Pole or whatever.
No, his friend
Peter?
or Peter, not Alan. Peter, and they're like, "Yeah, Peter!" was like cheering on Peter.
Yeah,
they're like,
funny.
"Oh, every Deadpool's got a Peter," and I'm like, "Right, yeah." I'm sure that makes so much sense now. I love this, and it's just like one of those goofy things where it's like you can't even be mad at it. It's just par for the course. This makes so much sense for these guys.
Yeah. Yes. It was a great ending kind of fight sequence, and then we get. Also, fun fact, I don't know if you knew. Obviously, Blake Lively was Lady Pool, which I don't know if you knew.
I did hear about that.
But Matthew McConaughey was the cowboy Deadpool.
I love that. I love that for him.
I didn't know that until later. But then we get, obviously the final thing, of them saving the day. Deadpool trying to sacrifice himself. Wolverine trying to sacrifice himself. Them staying in their respected universe, which is kind of like made me appreciate it and be like, this is kind of like, this was like a love note to the X-Men films, and the Fox movies,
for the Fox universe.
And like we will probably see these characters again eventually, but like, it's not like going to be a like every like Deadpool 58 or like Wolverine the real last stand, it just is the
final real
last stand.
Extra last the
Budokai
last stand.
Tenkaichi.
This is the last one. We're for real this time, guys.
Yes. I thought it was a nice ending of, he went back with his family, and he's like, okay, like he added a new friend. Well,
somehow Laura came back.
Yeah,
I think they Genie 3-wished it. It was something like it was one of those things where it was kind of like Deadpool kinda like what he kept saying. He had that phrase that he said it was like a educated promise or something like that, or
something like that. Yeah.
It was something goofy that he was saying in regards to whether or not the TVA could fix Wolverine's like world, which he didn't. He just brought Wolverine into Deadpool's world. Which is
the same universe. It's just...
Yeah.
So, that Wolverine is a variant of the Wolverine that's in the Deadpool films. But Wolverine in the Deadpool films technically hasn't died yet, so...
No, he did. Wolverine in the Deadpool films is Logan.
Yeah, but he's in the future. That movie takes place in 2029. This movie takes place, like, present day.
Dang, so how does that work? Did they mess up the timeline again?
No, I don't think they did. I think they just were kind of like, it is what it is.
Yeah, let's not think about it too hard because now my brain's starting to hurt. How does that work?
I think, well, you know, the TVA doesn't, they kind of stand outside of timeline. So I think that they're just like, Wolverine is dead and your timeline is slowly decaying. Because
it hasn't happened yet for you, but it will.
Yeah. And Paradox is just like, we're just going to prune it because it doesn't matter. That's what I think.
Yeah. See, time travel is just so wacky.
Yeah.
You almost got to just never do it.
Yeah. I know a lot of people hate when movies, especially big franchises, do timeline stuff, but
not everybody can be Back to the Future, man.
No.
It's the best ones to do.
Not everybody can be Citizen Kane.
Damn.
But wise words right there.
Wise words.
Yeah. Anyways, let's give our final review. Do you want to do stars or you want to do a grade?
I'm giving this film a solid B.
You say I give it a B plus. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Go see it. You haven't seen it? Go see it.
And why did you listen to this entire spoiler review?
That's crazy. Are you crazy?
I think
that's
they
okay
are.
If you're crazy.
Everybody's a little crazy.
We're all a little crazy.
Yeah. Wise words.